Hello there, you beautiful people. My name is Willow, and welcome back to Supreme Commander Forged Alliance Forever for a 7 versus 7. So many players played on the Neuroxis map generator. Let's go ahead and get into player introductions, starting with Team 1 in the south and ending with Team 2 in the north. And we're going to begin with the rear guard position for Team 1. It is none other than the man trying to bind his teammates together, going Aeon with the first air factory. It is Weld. Then moving on to the east, we have a very prolific player, and he is a light blue UEF going first land. And guess what, everybody? It's Wednesday, my dudes. Then over to the east of him, we have a dark green UEF going first land, and his name is Nova Enon. Then up to the north of him, we have a cyan Seraphim, such a beautiful color on such a ugly faction, and it has the name of Augustin. Then to the west of him, we have ourselves an orange Cybran going first land, the darkest being around. He is so evil, and his name is Lucifer. Then up to the north of him, we have a white Cybran going first land, and he is rocking the spiky boys today, and his name is Baxtradavaris. We're going to call him Bach. And then up to the northwest of him, his last ally, a green Aeon, ending Team 1 on a high note with the best faction, going first land by the name of Blackstar 1510. Blackstar 0151. 0510. 0150. There we go. We got it. Okay. Man, dyslexia is kicking in like a bitch today. As we move on to Team 2, starting with the rear guard position, a pink Cybran going first land by the name of Wookie Guy. Then over to his west, we have ourselves a purple UEF going first land. He collects music and really loves Master Chief from Halo. His name is Vinyl 117. Then over to the west of him, we have ourselves a dark blue Seraphim. Bad choice of faction, but a very amusing name. It is Tetra, an amused face. And then we have ourselves to the south a brown? We're going to call it brown UEF going first land by the name of Mythic. And man, you hope these drop off all those bosses you're killing. As we move on to the east with the purple Seraphim going first land by the name of Cascade. And yep, bad choice of faction, but a very good player. As we move on to the south for the second to last player of the game, a gray UEF going first land, and his name is Von Einsbim. Vaughn. We have both of these positions have very German names. As we look at the last player of the game, a red Cybran going first land. He has been on the channel before, and he'll be on it again most likely. His name is Judah X. And with all of the players introduced and the speed set back to 0 from that slower speed we had for player introductions, we have a 15 by 15 kilometer map here, and we have 12,000 reclaim for these players to scoop into their various coffers. And we have a lot of mass extractors and large areas on both the northwestern and southeastern sections of the map for these players to get engaged into large land battles. Also, air gonna play a pivotal role here. We have multiple players who you could argue should be going for T3 air, and it's gonna be very interesting to see exactly how all these players manage the high expectations we have for them in this match. We have a smattering of ratings all the way from 800 to 2200. We got a spread over 1,000. In fact, it's 2,400 rating worth of, no, 1,400 rating worth of spread. I should stay away from numbers. They're really not agreeing with me today. And of course, We got all these units moving out here. We got expansions up to the north very heavily coming out from our boys Bach and Black Star, and we have something very similar happening down here, though not to the same degree. Bach and Black Star really getting out there with engineers and commanders alike. Meanwhile, over here on the southeastern side of the map, we have a lot of labs coming out of the two UEF players, lots of mech marines coming out from both Nova Enon and Wednesday, my dudes. So that will be interesting to see. So we have a bit of a mismatch as far as the land is going to go. Both the northwest corner and the southeast corner kind of have a 3 versus 2 kind of thing going on. You could argue that one of these players may go for air, and if they do, that might change the equation entirely. But we kind of expect Wednesday and Vinyl over here to be making their way out to the west to try and make their presence known, or for Wednesday to the east. They're going to be trying to get to these flanks, so that way, at the very least, their commander can provide some input on how the land battles go. We also have T2 starting up our very first upgrade of the game. Lots of people talking in chat there. And that T2 upgrade is going to be starting for August in the Cyan Seraphim. Going to be getting that upgrade. Fun fact, in case you didn't know, if you are playing the game and you want to figure out what your opponent's getting, you just have to zoom in and look. You can see that this is a Seraphim commander getting the left upgrade. And if you know the upgrades well enough, you can just kind of guess. He can only be getting a couple of upgrades on that left arm, and one of them is Tech 2, one of them is Restoration Field, and the other one is, of course, Refacting Chrono Amplifier, which is a gun upgrade, but not the gun upgrade. It's very expensive, but it adds AoE to that Seraphim commander. Now, over here to the east, we have a couple of those mech marines coming into contact with some engineers. A couple of engineers going to be picked up, but those mech marines going to go down for their troubles. Mech marine, no, a Selin out from Augustin, going to pick up an engineer. Lots of engineers that were out here expanding for Judah X, going to be under fire, and they're going to hurt so much when they fail. Also, some more mech marines going to be coming in over here to the east for Wednesday, my dudes. Maybe he can slip just along this edge and stay out of the vision range of these Mantis, but instead, nope, there is indeed a radar of some description built, so they will be intercepted. Meanwhile, this Selin trying really hard to kill off that mech's not going to manage it. Meanwhile, up on the northwestern corner, not really as much happening, so we're going to keep our focus down here. We now have some mech marines coming out from the northern team saying, "Hi, anything you can do, I can do better." So we have ourselves out in strong fashion. Von Eins trying to find himself some engineers. Unfortunately, he will find nothing, as his mech marines kind of just go by the wayside. And we will see a striker coming out to try and deal with them. Also, they're running directly into a commander of Nova Enon, who can just stop building this land factory and blap away these mech marines relatively easily. And we have a transport drop, a lot of reclaim up here, so we're seeing multiple transport drops. We already have at least one, if not more, drops out from Cascade here in the middle, and we have Wookiee Guy going to be showing up here in the middle. For the opposite team, though, we do have Lucifer, who has managed to get himself an engineer up here to get some reclaiming goodness down, and lots of reclaim going on. The two players to look at right now are, of course, going to be Lucifer and Cascade, the two highest rated players, but the rating difference between them is quite large, 400 rating, meaning that Team 1 down here is going to be giving up quite a little bit in terms of their overall team's cohesion, because they're going to be taking the lion's share of the lower rated players. But, of course, they have Lucifer, who is a very good player. I think it might be Rowan, but I can't remember exactly. The pros changed their name too much. As over here to the west, we have our first comm-on-comm action, and Vaughn has Control K'd. That must have been a disconnect of some kind. Yes, a kick both, one crashed. So there was a crash of some time. And also Bach also going down. Both of the German players, thankfully, because now I don't have to say their names, going down due to an unfortunate mishap with the internet connections And of course, that's going to mean that actually Mythic comes out of this worse for wear. He was already in a fight with the commander of Bach, and now he's just getting walked down by the commander of Blackstar. Blackstar needs to be careful not to allow this Striker and Lobo to stop his pathing too much, but he wasn't able to. Meanwhile, on the other side, I'm sure a lot of build power and a few units died over here for Wookiee Guy, and also just units that were built up by Von Eins. So now we're looking at a situation where those two high-rated players are now sitting on double base at 7 minutes. This is going to be a very spicy game. Two very good players with very big ecos are going to get hot and heavy here. As in the middle, Lucifer going for a factory, a very aggressive play, going to mean that he can try and shut down Cascade by just building up a whole bunch of hunters and getting himself in a good position. A bit of a mismatch here, though. Lucifer going to have an easier time adapting to the second base, as it was just a Cybern base. It was already the tech he was. Meanwhile, Cascade having to deal with an unfortunate mishap. His ally was, of course, a UEF, so he has got to work with 2 different factions worth of tech. Can be a deficit, could be a benefit, it could be bad, it could be good. It's hard to say. Overall, I personally like it whenever I get a base that is the same faction as me, because it means it's easier to integrate, but you also get access to more different tech units and more tools to solve any problem you come across. Bomber coming out over here trying to kill off a T2 mech and damn near getting it. Very interesting. As over here to the east, we have a few raiding units coming out from Augustin. They're going to be cleaned up without much issue. Judah X looking very, very exposed down here to the southeast. Does have his commander out here. Is going to start building up mexes, but he has got a very scary army and a T2 comm here soon to boot to deal with. And we're looking at a very even game so far. Over here to the northwest corner, we have a few units coming out from, of course, Lucifer, trying to get himself some damage done. He wants to get some raiding in, but I don't think it's really going to work, as, of course, Tetra has set himself up relatively well, has a decent amount of lane spam, can just continue to hold this corner, and overall map control split 50-50, except for here in the middle, where we do see a conglomeration of units coming out from Lucifer, who is going to have more access to most of the reclaim here in the middle. In this middle area, there is still a solid 3,000 reclaim, and these players will fight over 3,000 reclaim. They're that high level. Chrono Dampener coming out from Blackstar. What a Giga Chad. That's a very spicy upgrade, and I'm very happy to see it. Also, he's doing the thing where he is, for some reason, just building a grid, I believe, of land factories. Why are people doing this? Somebody in the comments, tell me why people do this. Like, is it... I've never done this. I always think that would mess with pathing just too badly. Answers in the comments, please. As we have a few Corsairs coming out, trying to snipe the power of Lucifer, and actually they're Nathas, not Corsairs. Does manage to get one of the power generators, as T3 is on the way, and the second one goes down to a stray bomb. And unfortunately, Lucifer gonna have to rebuild his T2 Pigeons. Luckily, he didn't reclaim too many of his T1 Pigeons, so he'll be in an okay position. Also has all of that overflow power coming from his second base, but needs to get these T2 Pigeons up quickly before he's in a stall situation. First one going up very quickly. Meanwhile, over here to the east, we have a large force now building up for Nova Enon, who is gonna start PD creeping. With that commander is slowly building up more PD. Judah gonna have a very difficult situation here, as Augustin also pushing in. I think he managed to kill off a T2 Mex. Yes, he did. And he's about to get another one if he just focuses it down. Does get it. 2 T2 Mexes for Judah X going down. Don't know why he has T2 Mexes so far forward. I mean, I guess those are the only ones he really had access to, so that's going to be very painful for the bright red Cybern player, as we have more Triads going up, more expansion coming out from Nova Enon. Meanwhile, over here on the western side, we have Tetra trying to push in, but Tetra's going to be met with a wall of Cybern aggression as these Mantis going to come in, clean up these Thoms before they can get too much damage done. We also have Blackstar, who is still working on that upgrade. Unfortunately, we don't have the progress bar showing up anymore. We also most likely had a few other upgrades. T2 finished up for Tetra, Stealth finished up, or no, T2 started for Tetra, Stealth finished up for Wookiee Guy, Chrono on the way, T2 done for Nova Anon, Speed and Range done for Wookiee Guy, as well as a few others, I'm sure. A very spicy early few minutes here. Large land fight now coming out between Nova Anon and Judah X. Gonna be very interesting to see where this goes. And Judah X, losing all of his T2 mexes that were up there in the front, still has a decent cohort of them in the back and can definitely afford his land factories. In fact, maybe having a little bit of trouble spending mass here soon if he isn't using all of these engineers, and he has a very good production base already set up, so isn't in threat of too much terrible stuff happening in the moment, but does need to reclaim that area and get himself set up with more eco. Eco is the name of the game here for these players right here and right now. And Wednesday is currently to T2 land and air. Very interesting to see a player go for both. And I have to see what he plans to do with that. As the game continues to progress, Lucifer, the first player to get to T3 air and produce it, with T3 ASF coming out from his factories. We have T3 air done, but in the T3 Pigeon just finishing up now for Cascade. But he is going to be a little bit behind as far as air is concerned, but not by too much. They're both going to be sitting on relatively even ASF numbers, especially if up here to the north, Lucifer takes the fight with all these interceptors. As over to the east, we have large groups of units grouping up here, but right now it's looking a little bit dangerous for Nova Anon. He doesn't have the same unit count, and that's a lot of units now coming out from Wookiee Guy, who is trying really hard to support his team. He really invested a lot into land, whereas his teammate, or his opponent, did not. Wookiee Guy is in this rear guard kind of air position, and he hasn't even gone for air. So that's going to be a little bit scary, but T3 air is coming out now for Vinyl. So both teams have about 2 players in that T3 air phase, with Weld and Lucifer versus, of course, over here to the east, we have ourselves Vinyl and Cascade. We have all of these units now showing up. Nova Anon, as I said, going to be in a little bit of trouble, but he's going to be able to fall back to more and more sets of triads. He has a few more set up over here, and he's going to be able to clean this up. Does lose a triad, but if he can rebuild that, he has a very nice reclaim field right here, and he has a decent amount of production coming up. Building Mongoose, which is a little bit, you know what, it's not quite a sin. He's a 1300, he could probably manage Mongoose, but needs to make sure he's paying attention to that. Meanwhile, over here to the west, we have ourselves a lot of units conglomerating, but the issue here for Lucifer is now he is going up against Ilshabas. He's trying desperately to defend the base of Blackstar, who is really focusing on this kind of area here. They've taken kind of separate paths to get to places, but we have Loyalists coming out from Lucifer, which is really going to equalize this playing field up here. Loyalists won't trade mass for mass with any T2 unit. No T3 unit really trades mass for mass, but has that concentrated DPS that the Duelist is always talking about. Go watch the Duelist if you don't. He is a very, very smart cookie. And over here to the east, we have a bit of a calmer state. We have some calmness now forming up here in the northwest. Let's take this moment of reprieve. Also, Chrono Dampener done for Blackstar, and I was going to say let's take this moment of reprieve to look at the economies, but we have Chrono, and you know I have to zoom in and get you those beautiful shots of all these units being stunned up by that Chronomander. And the Chronomancer that is Willow's Duality will never pass up on a chance to watch some Chrono carnage. Have I said Chrono enough? No. Well, don't worry, I'm going to keep doing it. And this army coming out from, I don't remember the name, this army coming out from Mythic is going to be a mythical demise, but not before it gets rid of a decent production base here for Blackstar, and Blackstar is really not going to like that. But looking at the economies for a moment, we see Cascade out ahead in front with 243 mass a second, 230 for Lucifer versus Nova Enon. This next highest rated player, or highest eco player, is only at 130, 140. So these 2,000 and 1,800 rated players, the pros in this game, doubling the eco of the next closest players. Wednesday, my dude, also doing well, and overall, Team 1 is behind by almost 50 mass a second, and most of that's up to Cascade, Vinyl, and Tetra, who are all doing very well. Also, Blackstar and Augustin just having a lot of struggles with eco. In fact, Augustin giving his base over to Lucifer, and now Lucifer topping the charts as far as mass production is concerned. And that's kind of how the ecos are shaping up right here. Over here to the east, we have a bit of a force coming out from Nova Enon. Very micro-heavy force. Needs to make sure that his pillars are moving forward while his Mongeese are moving back. But if he can manage the micro just that little bit of goodness well, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm not speaking well. But we have something very exciting to look at. We have count them, 4 ghetto gunships, and they're coming in for the comm of Judah X. Judah X has been struggling this game. Not sure if this is a snipe you want to go for, but I think Judah X most likely just going to go down here to the 4 ghetto gunships coming out from Wednesday, my dudes. And we have a scalp coming out on the cards. That's the first player death caused by something other than an internet connection. And that is going to lead to a very sad state of affairs up here on this northern side. Cascade going to be taking over a 3rd base, so 3 bases for both of these high-rated players. I think Cascade's getting the better end of this deal. He got T3 mechs out of his trade. Meanwhile, August was not sitting on a good economy. So Lucifer working from a little bit of a deficit. But meanwhile, over here to the northwest corner, Tetra is taking a beating. His force is just unable to contend with the loyalist brick threat coming out from Lucifer, who is just throwing so many resources over here to the west. Let's go ahead and check on Lucifer and Cascade and their ASF numbers. 28 ASF for Lucifer. Meanwhile, Cascade sitting on 26, so very, very even between these two players. And then we have Weld and Vinyl also in the air. Some Strat Bombers now coming out from Vinyl. We'll have to keep an eye on those. I don't think we've seen a Strat Bomber come in for the bases yet. I think they've been very cognizant of the fact that their opponents do have air units to stop that from happening. Meanwhile, over here to the east, this army out from Nova Enon is just continuing to push forward. If he can push into this base, if he can get some real damage done, that would be good. And in fact, he just has a lot of T2 here, and there's nothing but T1 to really defend, and a bunch of Cerberus. He could get set up with a very strong position here, but needs to keep pushing, needs to keep pressuring, cannot sit on his laurels. In fact, an attack move right now would be amazing, as it would allow him to keep pushing forward, but he is going to slowly take out little bits of this base, bit by bit, moment by moment, as T3 is finished up for him, and he is building up many T3 pigeons. Nova Enon, if you're watching this, just newsflash here, you really don't need... What? Where's all your eco... Okay, you have to be stalling. Okay, he was only stalling because he was building the power generator, but getting an anti-nuke in, quite honestly, the only position that wouldn't protect any of his allies. But hey, that's lessons learned, I guess. And really worried about a nuke threat. Have they scouted a nuke? I'm not seeing one over here in the north. Cascade would be the most likely person to do that. He is just hyper vigilant about that possibility. Wednesday, after that snipe, has gone for T3 land and a quantum gateway, but he still has a lot of T2 mexes. Wednesday, what you doing, my fam? Unless, yeah, this is building Ras Boys. Please pause this and... Okay, you know what? I got yelled at in the Duelists video. By the way, Duelist is doing Willow Week. Go check out Duelist if you want to see some of my gameplay. He's doing multiple casts of me this week, and I'm very, very honored, and I feel very privileged to have him doing such a beautiful thing. And of course, he was yelling at me for building Ras Boys when I had 2 T2 mexes in relatively safe area. But Wednesday, my man, you have so many T2 mexes. Did you just forget they existed? I guess he just wants the bulkier build power to run around with. We have a strat sniper building up for Vinyl, and it is a scary one. 9 strategic bombers we're starting to get into that range where he's built enough strat bombers to have an experimental. In fact, may have already done that if he is indeed Cybran. He's not Cybran, but still. And August in Control K's. Where is that commander? It's right over here. I guess he was just trying to find the best place to Control K where he wouldn't hurt his teammates. Either way, that is the end of August in, who kind of just gave his base to Lucifer and yeeted himself out of the match. Does kill off a engineer that was trying to build mass storage. Poor Weld. And up here to the north, we're starting to see this base that has been established since the beginning of the game for Tetra. It's starting to go down with these siege assault bots. Or actually, these are just assault bots. I think the Loyalist is a siege assault bot. Something like that. Showing up to destroy, decimate, and disassemble this base over here in this northern corner. And I don't think Lucifer is going to be stopped on this land front. Not by Tetra, at least. Tetra is going to struggle. He's got to T3 land. He's got some T3 land factories here, but they're just not going to be enough. And down is going to go all of this production. These bombers not going to be enough, at least not quick enough to kill this off before all the production goes down. Lucifer going to be very happy with that win, but needs to make sure he's getting engineers into this reclaim field, and he already does have them. Needs to hold on to it just long enough to get the majority of the reclaim, and then arguably the majority of the reclaim is over here, so it's much easier for him to hold on to that, and he's starting to push in over here on the east. Meanwhile, over on the far eastern side of the map, we're seeing Titan on Percival action. Also got a bit of a fire base built up here. Nova Enon sitting on a very strong economy still and sitting in a very strong position. Him and Wednesday kind of the players to look at behind Lucifer and, of course, Cascade, who are sitting on absolutely massive economies, 400 and 500 respectively. But now we have all of these strat bombers over here in the north. They may be used as a way to deal with all of these bricks that are just going to start assailing the base of Tetra. And Tetra just really in a tough position here. He's going to start trying to build up a bit of a force. I just saw something in the chat about an experimental bomber. Experimental bomber. I'm assisting air for sure now. They saw an experimental bomber? Yes, they did. Cascade, sitting on a very strong economy, is going for one of those very scary experimental bombers used very extensively by the pro level players. Whenever they get access to experimentals, they love the Awasa. But Lucifer has fallen behind massively in air. Down, he has 95 ASF, but that just feels like nothing when you compare it to Cascade's blistering 112 plus 10 from one of the UEF allies. So those strat bombers did come in. They did get a little bit of damage done, but these bricks going to continue to push forward. But Lucifer now going to be unable to protect this. He does have enough ASF that maybe a few good turns could save him, but he doesn't want to take an air fight if he doesn't have to. And the strat bombers, where are they going to go is the question. Vinyl still building more, really enjoying his strategic bombings. As over here to the east, we have large groups of T3 land units, bricks, Titans. I'm sure there's a Percival or two kicking around somewhere around here, coming out from this base, which will be used to try and ward off any of the aggression from Nova Enon. And now an air grid starting to go up for Wednesday. The more air players getting involved on Team 1 means that Team 2 needs to really buckle down and get their air production underway without Wookiee Guy looking a little bit dangerous. Would really love to see all of the air players right now hand their air to Lucifer. He is arguably the best player to have it right now. Nova Enon saying almost done to the Seraphim bomber. And those strat bombers coming in yet again in over here on the northern side. Going to be trying to get some damage down onto these bricks. And that is an experimental bomber finished up for the man, the myth, the legend, Cascade. And his mythic ally over there to his west protecting him. And the Awasa strategic bomber going to start flying its way in towards Lucifer's base. It could just be going straight for the commander, but that's a lot of ASF it's about to fly into. There's even some AA here that's going to take it down, about 5% of its HP down. All of these ASF turn and they fire. The bomb, it goes off, and so does the wreck. And oh no, it's a disaster. Lucifer gonna lose his air grid. Is the air fight gonna go his way as a bunch of strat bombers now coming in? Needs to build a shield quickly. No, the strat bombers are gonna come in and they're gonna start landing bombs. And down goes the 2200 rated Titan of this match. And on top of that, they win air. The strat bombers now gonna come in, drop bombs onto the air grid of Weld. And Weld may not be able to hold this off. And with that, the game's balance shifts dramatically. Wednesday taking over a lot of bases and a lot of mass. And oh no, it's a disaster for Team 1. As Wednesday now carrying the weight of the world on his shoulders. He is Atlas. And over here to the east, we have a few units now starting to conglomerate for both sides. We see Nova Enon, much like Tetra, being forced back. And now we're looking at Wednesday having a very difficult struggle, giving a base to Weld, which is interesting. Weld, arguably one of the weaker players here. Maybe I would have given that to Nova Enon. He'd be the better player suited to deal with this extra base. But Weld sitting on a higher economy means good things if you can build an air grid. You need to push until you die. Can't keep up air. I can't keep up 6v1 on air. Can land. Sam's everywhere. Yep, that's some good advice, and we see Wednesday immediately putting that into action. Sam's going to be very important for this Southern team. Another Awasa now on the way, passing that 50% mark, and it's starting to look like Cascade is just going to take over this match and get a W for his team. This base now handed over to Blackstar, who is going to have to move some mountains here. Really surprised this base doesn't go to Nova Enon, who has a Fat Boy out onto the field, and that's maybe why he's a little bit lacking on the ground, as Cascade is starting to try and just roll over him. And Wednesday does keep some of those extra mexes for himself, but has really spread out the love as far as economies are concerned. And he is ecoing very well, building up these RAS boys. But he's gonna need a prolific air grid if he wants even a chance of getting back into air in any meaningful way. Now with mass strat bombers appearing out on the map for Vinyl, could see some scary things coming out onto the field. Now with air being produced by multiple players on the Southern team, have a whole bunch of ASF showing up for players like Nova Enon, Wednesday, and Weld. Starting to see a bit of a scary situation. Bunch of strat bombers now coming in over here to the east. Another Awasa out now for Cascade. Awasa gonna fly into some SAMs, but I'm not really sure the SAMs are all that scary, as Weld is trying to run away. And the strat bombers came in over here and killed Blackstar. I forgot his comm was over there. And that strat bomb comes in, kills off 4 mexes, and starts to try and run away, and it's gonna get away. Can't make that pass too many times though with all of these strat bombers showing up. A bunch of ASF out from Wednesday. They lock onto the Awasa, but they're just gonna be murdered on sight without getting any shots in, dropping a nice reclaim rain over the base of Wookiee guy. And that's gonna be a scary, scary proposition for this Southern team. That Awasa is just gonna keep on causing problems. We have a bunch of strat bombers now forming here in the middle, and it's starting to look a little bit hopeless for Southern team today. The Awasa flying over the Fat Boy. That Fat Boy feeling very unlucky at the moment. But that Awasa's about to turn and kill off this entire force, I would imagine. Nope, kills off that production. And Cascade slowly constricting the area in which his opponents can play. Strat Bomber is going to come in to kill off some T3 mexes out over here for Wednesday. Wednesday, yet again, sitting on a base that he didn't really want, it would seem. I think it would be a mistake to hand that over to Weld. So he's probably just going to have to suck it up and play this side of the map, building a megalith. And continuing to build an air grid. It has a Novax queued up, very interestingly. And the Awasa continues to get damage done. I think it may have just dropped a bomb near this Fat Boy. There's a bunch of SAMs going up, but I don't know if it'll be enough. The SAMs have to lock onto the Awasa. And the Awasa is going down pretty low on HP, down to 16,000. Some of the ASF make it through, knocking it down into red HP, but another bomb drops, and another group of T3 land goes down. And SAMs have to be spammed across the map now for Wednesday, and for Nova Enon. Nova Enon sitting in a very scary position. We have two Awasas out on the field now for Cascade. Sending an Awasa over here, wouldn't be surprised. Yep, that is exactly where it's going to bomb. Get rid of 4 more T3 mexes. And really try and just hamper the economy of Wednesday. In come those bombs, and down goes those T3 mexes. And another bomb gonna come in, kill off these T3 mexes, and it's just a disaster now. As Cascade... Oh, he didn't get the bomb drop off. It's gonna have to go off map and then turn around to make this happen. But the Awasa... gonna turn around, is gonna get that bomb off. And there's just not enough ASF on the field to really contest these Awasas. You have to build up SAMs everywhere, and it's so difficult to make that happen. Wookie guy asking for an escort. I'm guessing that is for the Megalith indeed, wants those Titans to go with him. As multiple Awasas make their way up here to this northwestern corner, they're gonna one of them's gonna die. But it does get off a bomb and kill off 4 more mexes and some production, and even I think that may have gotten an HQ. Very unfortunate for Team 2 Team 1, and Team 1, they're just gonna be in a very rough position. In comes the Strat Bomber once again, gonna drop another bomb, this time over the base of Weld. Does he manage to get the Awasa out of here? It'll be a hard ask if he makes it happen, as a GC is on the way for Weld. Does it drop its bomb? No, not quite yet. Is it gonna try and fly off screen? It's gonna try, but is it gonna make it? It does make it off screen, which is really unfortunate for Team 1. They would have loved that eco. Control K out from Cascade. What the hell? Cascade giving up for some reason. A very strange time to Control K. He was lagging, so he left. Wow. Interesting. And over here to the east, we have Megalith encroaching large groups of T3 units. We have broadswords out from Nova Enon, and oh my lord, how many SAMs is that? 29 SAMs out from Nova Enon. Wednesday sitting on 41 in just these bases. These bases very difficult to attack via air. You could get one large wave of Strat Bombers and that might work. Or just get another Awasa and start slowly killing off SAMs with long-range bombs. Vinyl sent 46 units to Wookie Guy. Happy birthday, sending all these Titans over. And the Megalith gonna start making its way in. We have a bunch of broadswords showing up. They're gonna start focusing down these bouncers, but it's really the flak they should worry about. That flak gonna be a real problem. Although the Novak's showing up to get some drive-by shots on the flak. Really gonna help out. A lot of the broadswords left on low HP, but low HP is more than no HP. So they're gonna be able to start eating away at that Megalith's HP pool. The Megalith's gonna continue to run away from these broadswords. Meanwhile, over here to the east, we have the 4 Harbingers of Doom gonna be slowly eaten away by the 40 Titans of Destruction. And Wednesday slowly building up his economy, but Vinyl is over 1,000 mass a second by himself, and he's building mass fabs? Dude, just build a game ender. At this point, build a Maver. You can afford it. Oh my lord, Vinyl likes mass. Tetra has built an experimental unit. He's built a chicken. There is a chicken over here to the west that I wasn't even paying attention to. But in comes a chicken. There is a Megalith that could come over here and respond. But for now, this chicken looking like it might just be able to have a free reign into Weld's base. The Megalith now finally going to start moving its big old fancy legs over towards that chicken. And the chicken does start retreating after killing off a little bit more of this base. And over here to the east, Wookiee guy pushing in with all the Titans. The Fat Boy is going to go a long way at dealing with this. Where did the Megalith end up? Megalith died over here. Guessing that was to, well, that line of Percivals. And Wookiee guy has really just dumped a lot of mass over here, in fact. 159,000. Speaking of reclaim, Wednesday, my dude's up to 120,000 reclaim, and everybody else below 50,000, so he's doubling everybody else on the field, and honestly, their team in general really winning the reclaim wars, over 100,000 ahead, but the issue is they're 200,000 mass behind in total mass generated this game, and all of these strat bombers, you just have to wonder when he's going to send those in. As double chickens appear over here on the eastern front, with Vinyl getting involved on all fronts, it would seem, except for this western one, leaving that to Tetra, who has 2 chickens of his own, but is up against soon to be a GC and also a Megalith already built. Another GC on the way over here. Weld, I think, already built one, but I'm not sure where it went. And this GC is going to take a ton of damage. It's going to die before it ever stands up. What an unfortunate way to go. And in comes all of the forces of Wednesday to try and deal with this chicken. Meanwhile, on the southern side, we're going to be looking at a very similar situation. We got a fight going on both sides. We got these chickens showing up for both sides. And we got a force trying to defend on both sides. And it does seem as though Tetra's going to be forced back, but he has another chicken over here to the east. Meanwhile, these chickens over here on the eastern front just going to continue to push forward. Where are all those Percivals that were over here for Wednesday earlier? They're just not existent. And this could be very dangerous. Megalith over here on this side. We're going to go ahead and go back to normal screen as the Megalith fights the chicken here. I think the Megalith is going to win it. It's got enough sustained fire, but it's going to die afterwards. Ooh, Monkey Lord that was trying to be built over here goes down. Chickens pushing into the base. Broadswords showing up. Those chickens going to start losing HP really quick thanks to the broadswords, but there should be an air response coming out from all these players on the other side, and you also have to worry about Vinyl's Strat Bomber contingent. It's building up. He has so many Strat Bombers. He has over 30. Working up towards 40 strat bombers. As over here to the east, first chicken goes down. The Ion Storm gonna help deal with the second one. Megalith died to the chicken's supporting army, but there's another chicken over here, but there is a GC to help out. And the broadswords kill off that second chicken, but this has been incredibly damaging for Wednesday and for Nova Enon. They've just lost territory here. Sure, it's a lot of reclaim, but they need to rebuild. They've lost a lot of SAMs too. And with this strat cloud building, you have to be worried. Now GC over here to the east, going to be cleaning up one of these armies, but another army is on the way. Another GC is finished up right here. Weld's just going to build a bunch of GCs and hope it works. Needs to lift these ASF, needs to get these restorers firing at something. GC is fighting off an army by himself, and he's going to be able to do it. He's going to be relatively successful here, at least stopping the units out from Mythic, but the units out from Tetra going to continue to be a bother as they push in. Another GC making its way built up. That's a lot of Percivals over here to the east that could make their way to the west to help. And we have strat bombers out from both Vinyl and Tetra. Who are they going to go for? If they just fly straight down right now, that might be a mistake. That's a lot of SAMs to fly through. And there is a group of ASF out for Nova Enon. Strat bombers going for the GC, and honestly, with that many, you're just going to get it. But that GC was trying to chase down the sniper bot. Now GC on chicken action, but that chicken looked in worse for wear from when it was born. And air fight kicking off now over here. There's so much happening at any given time. That's a bunch of strat bombers now coming in. Who are they going to go for? Nova Enon might be the best bet. He is the player doing kind of the best at air. Strategic launch detected. That's coming out from Wednesday, my dudes, and it's going for one of the mini air grids. There's an Awasa on the way here too. Might be able to pick that up. I think the Awasa will live. Yeah, 37,000 HP is more than enough to survive that. All of these strat bombers, almost enough strat bombers to shoot down a spy plane with just their AA. How many is he sitting on? He's sitting on quite a few, but like all good things, it's about to come to pass. And boom, baby! Look at that explosion. And he's sitting on basically 60 strat bombers. At a certain point, you gotta throw caution to the wind and use them. And chicken showing up over here on the western flank, looking to do some damage. And Tetra trying to keep pushing in, but there's more GCs being built every day. Another GC being built right there. Wednesday also sitting on this prolific Percival force. Is he building any more SAMs? They really need to build SAMs. Do they know about that threat? Oh, they know. They understand how many strat bombers are there, right? Also, that's an Awasa. And there's another one. Remember, everybody, to stay hydrated. Sorry for my silence. I was taking a drink. And, how are you doing today? Remember, hey, if you're this far into the video, if you're 49 minutes in, and you're not liking, and you're not subscribing, what are you doing with your life? Because it's obvious that you enjoy this. Unless you're hate watching. And if you're hate watching, you should definitely, if you hate watch my videos, you should like, or you should dislike, you should subscribe, and you should hit the bell. If you hate watch my videos, that way you can show up to every single one of them and leave a dislike on all of them. Go for it. I encourage you. But if you love watching these videos, like and hit the bell yourself too. So that way you get notified for every single one of them as the Strat Bombers seeming to come in. It seems like finally, 1 second, we're gonna slow this down. Oh my lord, this is just thumbnail all day long. Yeah. Just look at him going. Alright, now we can go ahead and speed this back up. And we can see where they're going. Looks like they're mostly going to focus on to Wednesday. Here they come in. Strat Bombers dropping. Wednesday under a lot of trouble, but he is under a lot of shields. He takes a lot of damage there, but he doesn't quite go down. Where's the Iwasa? The Iwasa and some of the Strat Bombers went over to Nova Enon. Nova Enon not quite as lucky as Wednesday. Wednesday making it out on sub 4,000 HP. And doesn't even really lose that much for it. Loses some Ravagers and some Rask SCUs. That's a worthy trade. And we have a Salvation that's like 60, 50, 58% done right now. What the hell? When did that happen? Also, 3 GCs just casually walking their way uptown. This game is very, very carefully played by both sides, but unfortunately, kind of turned into the Wednesday versus Vinyl show. Wookie Guy, Mythic, and Tetra, they're doing their best, and also Weld, but they're kind of just trading back the same like 4 or 5 miles of land. They're just going back and forth with it. 2 Novaxes out from Wednesday, killing off a lot of exterior mexes, mostly here for Tetra. There's an Iwasa now being produced, about to finish up for Vinyl. Vinyl blew his load somewhat. Those Strat Bombers were kind of a sword of Damocles head over the head of Team 1, and he also committed most, if not all, of his ASF. So now the ASF lead arguably heavily in the hands of Team 1. And Team 2 was really abusing that for a long time, but with all of the air factories, they're just dotted around the map right now for Wednesday. He's just building so many ASF, and Weld... oh, bless me, sorry. Weld also doing quite well at producing ASF. Both sides in very strong positions. The GC is going to have to run away, but they kill off a chicken. And more strats are being built up along with more Iwasas. He just likes his strats and his Iwasas. 1.3 thousand mass. Despite building this massive grid. Does he have enough power for the grid? He has 102, 570 mass a second. Is he just losing mass somewhere else? Like, I don't quite understand how his eco isn't just insane by now with all of these built up. Strat Bombers just seem to be the plan for the Northern team. They just like Strat Bombers. Which, if there's something to like, Strat Bombers, pretty good one on the list to like. Just gonna say. Just gotta say that real quick. Over to the west, we have Novaxes being used to deal close air support to the GCs. Multiple Fat Boys showing up on this front too means that this is going to be a very scary situation. The Fat Boy, arguably the best unit in the game as far as land battles is concerned, because if you get 3 or 4 of them, or even just 2 in an area, it becomes impossible to win a fight. Especially with this many Percivals and a very damaged admittedly, but a existent GC here. Can get very dangerous very quickly. Meanwhile, over here to the east, a bunch of Percivals trying to just push past. They're going to be caught out by a chicken. And there's just so much happening anywhere. And the salvation is done? As well as a Duke, and they're starting to fire on this base. Oh my lord, I have my pick of the litter for thumbnails. As we're 49 minutes in, another nuke being launched by Wednesday. Where is it going? Going right here. Salvation plodding away, firing away. Wednesday now over 1,000 mass a second himself. Weld, having built the Salvation, is now just going to build a bunch of shields. And you know what? That's going to serve double duty for him, because if he builds enough shields, he might be able to survive, like, I don't know, 60 strats. That would be funny, right? And over here to the west, we have these fat boys pushing in. We have the nuke exploding, killing off that outer base for Vinyl. Honestly, may have been a good idea to also kill off, maybe a good idea to nuke this one too, so that way you have more options to push on this front. There's just experimentals being thrown everywhere, left and right. Fat boys over here on this western flank need to start pulling back right now. Right now, the fat boys have to run away very soon, or they just die. They just die. They are very micro-intensive. You need to run away. And Wednesday, you need to run away. You need to run away, Wednesday. I don't think Wednesday is going to run away. So he's going to kill the chickens, but he almost certainly dies here. No, he doesn't. Okay. Still, didn't need to lose a shield or take much damage on the fat boys. But he's lost all the Percivals, and now all that's here is just a 28,000 HP GC. Not that that's insignificant, but it's not as significant as it could be. And Mythic just built himself his own experimental. Did he build a fat boy and then hand it to a teammate? What? No, he built a Novax. As a Monkey Lord is walking its way into this base where a Duke is being built. And this Monkey Lord really needs to be dealt with. Does Wednesday notice it? Somebody ping it for Wednesday. Nova Enon pings it. And Wednesday, with the fast fingers, does a good reaction, gets himself a Ravager online. He's building a second and a third Duke at the same time. Salvation is firing. It's under heavy fire, but it's also getting more shields every second, as Weld is throwing his economy behind shielding. Let me go ahead and get the minimap enabled for you all once again. I know how much you all care about having that up. As over here to the east, a chicken pushing and killing off a few units out from Wednesday. The Strat Bomber numbers are still really high for this northern team. A second Awasa about to finish up. Artillery war is in full effect right now as the Salvation just continues to fire. I wonder what they were originally firing at. It had to be something pretty important. Oh, they got an anti-nuke. And the other anti-nukes, this one's not loaded. This one is loaded. This one's not loaded. Awasa finishes up. Tetra gonna be under a lot of pressure here. His artillery most certainly not gonna finish and be useful. Everybody on this team is mass fab farming. Wow. I'm surprised. Like, if these shields if they ever hit a power stall, they are fucked right now. But I guess the same is true for the southern team. Second Duke about to finish up. This Duke continuing construction once again. Restorers en masse being used to just deal with any land on this western front. I don't even really have any experimentals banked up anymore. Tetra could still try and push, but without any air support from his team, he's gonna be in a rough position. And that's a lot of Strat Bombers, and that's 2 Awasas. Till Wednesday now. Wednesday is being very successful in almost all of the things he's tried out so far. Throws the 2 artillery to weld. Very surprised not to see him throw the power. Does he need the power? He most certainly does not. Throw the power generators to him too. Wednesday, I know that you're busy, but like, come on. I gave mine to Terra. Kill. Where is Calm? Already has finished up. Man, Vinyl built that already really quick. Wednesday the dude. They are marking commanders. I'm on voice chat with Wednesday. He's having fun. And Wednesday, my dudes, is definitely the prime target to be sniped here. But they may just have enough to snipe both comms at once. They went for that against, of course, Wednesday and Nova Enon. Mythic has built another experimental. He's just building lines of Novaxes. Salvation breaking through over here, killing off one of the Dukes. Really like to see the Salvation and the Dukes just focus on these power generator grids. Because if you can get rid of their power generation, you can win this so quickly. But Wednesday is going to have a hard time. I mean, it's 2 Awasas and a stupid amount of strats worth of HP. It takes time to kill that. They're going to get one pass, and Wednesday has to find a way to survive it. I mean, so kind of does Weld if they want a chance to win this. And over here on this eastern side, Wednesday is just making progress. He's pushing forward with Fat Boys. He's pushing forward with Percivals, getting broadswords. Strategic launch detected. Don't know where the hell that's going, but it's going somewhere. Going over here. It's going right here for this fire base. Novax is being thrown up in random spots. Both sides having a lot of them now. This area over here now under heavy siege. Awasa being focused down. Nuke does land. But I think this might be it. We have 2 Awasas currently in the air right here. We have 219,000 mass worth of units. And they're gonna be pushing out into 2 separate groups, it would look like. They're separating. Gonna be coming in. One's going for Wednesday, one's going for Weld. In they come. Are they gonna be able to make it happen? In come the 2 experimental bombers. One drops its bomb control Ks, the other one drops its bomb control Ks, and that's gonna take out some of the shielding. And the strat bombers are coming in. Weld and Wednesday going down simultaneously. Thank you all for watching. You've been beautiful. Thank you to the patrons and channel members who support this channel so much. You all are awesome. I'll see you in the next video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. This is Willow, signing off.
But if I lay down and I play dead and I stay dead, maybe you'll get sick of being the monster.